It's kind of sad. Every time you turn around, you look, and especially when you're on social media, um, even on YouTube, you're starting to see, not starting, you have been seeing a lot of men and women just going back and forth talking about how dating is dead. Dating is just, it's a dead end. There's no good people out here. There's no good women. There's no good men. And what I could say to that is that I'm an 80s baby. And I can tell you this just from my experiences. I didn't have that many problems when it came to dating. I didn't really have issues. But what I did notice is when you deal with certain types of women, they deal with certain type of men. And the thing is, you're colliding against that. You're going up against that. You're going up against the. Say for instance, you're going out, and I noticed this even when I was doing a lot of dating because I was outside a lot, and I realized that all the dating that I did and going out with different girls, you realize that the ones that was used to guys catering to them heavy, what tends to happen is those are the ones that tend to. They're a lot easier to be able to scope out because they lead with being needy. And when I say that, they want you to take them to places that you like, wait a minute, I know you don't think I'm gonna take you there. And you're a peep that if you don't do the things that they want to do, they tend to have an attitude a lot. And a lot of times, you know what I mean? A lot of times, mostly pretty, pretty. But you still have a goal. Your goal is to get what you're trying to get. But at the same time, they don't have any type of threshold or level of being able to ask you for money. Like I remember going out with this young, and I only knew her for maybe about say about a week. Might have been about a week, maybe a week and a half if that. And I remember that first week she went out, and she went out, but when she went out, she had asked me for something on a Thursday. I remember that it was on a Thursday, and she was going to this concert, and she said, "Yo, I need a favor." And you sitting there, you like, wait a minute, I don't even know this John like that. I ain't even, well, mind you, I already did my thing with it, so it was quick. So I guess since we already went there, and it was, you know, at the end of the day, Friday was coming up, and it was no, I'm sorry, it was on a Wednesday. It was on a Wednesday, and she asked for a favor. Now every guy knows when we start talking about favors, you already know what's about to come up. And what happened is she asked for a favor, and I was like, "What's the favor?" And she's like, "I'm, I'm going to this show," and she's like, "I overspent," and I said, "Okay," and she said, I need a favor." Instead of her just say I need money, she just kept saying I need a favor. So I said, "Well, how much is the favor?" When she said next, I knew she was gonna get played, because her response was no amount of money. She said whatever you could do. Yo, that was wild. So if you want to know, no, I didn't give it to her. I act like I was gonna give it to her and didn't. But the thing is, that's what a lot of people are going through right now when it comes to dating. And it was like that back then. Except I think it's a lot worse. I don't know. I don't know if it's a lot worse because girls were like that then. It's just that when you take it, see, this is the thing. I think it might look foreign today to certain men if they were not going out on dates or they wasn't doing things with girls. But I could definitely say this though. I think the expense of taking somebody out has went up tremendously because I used to go to you got Fat Tuesday. I remember going to Fat Tuesdays. I used to go to Fat Tuesdays or I go to certain lounges downtown in Center City, and also I go to different spots down. It was off of University City. University City had a lot of nice little ducky spots that you can go up into. Like they was down in the alleyway, off of near it's not far from Spruce, but it was a spot. I think it was called Kavanaugh, something like that. It was like a different spots. The movie theater. It was different spots that you could go to, and it was comfortable. Like $50. Tell the truth, I'm not gonna even say 50. Maybe at the most, maybe about $40. I spend on different dates, and that's with a drink. We get a drink. I wouldn't eat crazy at night. Just didn't. I was, I stayed shape at the time. I was a lot even slimmer. So what one big on eating, especially late night, always worked out. So I go out on a date and we bust it up. I remember one show and I met her. She met up with me, and that was down in University City, and we met up and we went downstairs in a spot, and we had drinks and we were shooting pool, and right from pool, she's back at the crib, and she was cool. We was rocking out for a good 2 months. So that's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't that it was easy, but at the same time, you also got to remember too, when you out here dating, I can only speak for the fellas. If you're not sociable and you're not fun to be around, that gonna a woman will show you that you are not interesting, like to be around. They normally gravitate to you from the start, especially if they try to put their guard up. Like you can meet somebody and give them a hug, and off of that hug, they like the way you feel. They like your build. Like if they like your build or they like your smile, like if you looking at them, you just smiling at them or whatnot. You know what I mean? Gotta have good hygiene, but at the same time, you still gotta be presentable. But it has been times, even as men, we go out on dates. You meet somebody, and when you go out on that date, you looking at the female like, yo, this ain't it. Like I remember, this is it's been more than once, but this was the one date that I definitely do remember, and I don't want to call it. It wasn't really a date from hell. It was just a date that I just wasn't interested in, and I'm gonna be real with you. Another thing too, I think guys gotta calm down on, and that was something I was bad at. You trying to get each and everything you encounter, even though I mean, they still look good, but you ain't going for the baddie all the time. You going for somebody with a nice body. But I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of times when we go for the body, sometimes that slim thing is the one you really want, but you don't even realize you really want them. That's because sometimes on the eye, you're going for the biggest, the what I mean, the one that got the nicest and the roundest. And I want to watch my language when I talk on YouTube because I don't want nothing to be, what I mean, come across unpresentable. So I'm gonna just say you're looking for the one that's right. But I realize the ones that are nicely built and slim, those are the ones sometimes you really want because sometimes the ones that really built like that, they get so much attention. Not to say the ones that slim ain't gonna get it, but remember something: you can see a girl that's not attractive, and she built crazy, built right. She gonna attract a lot of men because of her build, and that build is what like guys see. They can be driving down the street and be like, "Oh, yo," you know what I mean? Be like, "Yeah." Yo, it be like that. You'll jump out on them, all because they built right. Them jeans is hugging, and you gotta be careful. So I remember going out with this girl. I can't even remember. I don't even remember what she looked like, but she had that shape. She was right, and I remember I went to scoop her up, and automatically I was turned off from the date. Just as soon as I went to pick her up, when I got to her crib, I'm sitting there and I ended up waiting almost 20 minutes, but I was waiting inside her crib. Normally I wouldn't go in nobody's crib. But I'm sitting there and I'm waiting on it. Then she come down the steps. Now mind you, yo, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I gotta be real. When she came down the steps, I did not remember her. I was like, damn. When? I'm like, damn, when I meet her. This what happens when you out all the time and you in the club and you getting too many numbers. Like you just bagging different Jones. And I'm gonna tell you something. That's not good. And you realize that late. You realize like when you young, you think it's cool. But I'm gonna tell you what ended up happening. You just going for stuff. I don't know why. You just going for stuff. You just all about trying to tag who you trying to tag. And she wasn't. She wasn't. She wasn't unattractive, but she wasn't for me. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. The thing that turned me off when she came down the steps, I ain't like her fit. I don't know what it was, but I was looking at it and I was like, oh man, this this ain't it. So she comes down the steps. I'm already now like, oh yo, I'm definitely not feeling this. So the only thing that could make this I'm about to say relationship. The only thing that could have made that date into something that was worth taking out was her personality. And right off the bat, I don't know what the personality was like, but we didn't bust it up much. That's why a lot of times it's good to at least talk to somebody at least for at least a good week or so. I was just sending her a text here and there. That's what happens when you try to be fast. Like you're trying to get everything. And I ended up learning a lesson that night. We went out. The date, we was on our way to our movies. And in the midst of on our way to the movies, we talking. But as we talking, I'm not feeling her at all. And when I say I wasn't feeling her at all, I wasn't feeling her at all. So I sent a couple text messages out for bait. Any guy knows that I'm talking about this. Been outside. I sent at least maybe I probably sent maybe about two or three. Might have been about three texts out to three different Jones, and I got a hit back from two of them. You ain't gonna strike out every time. So when I got that hit back, I already knew right then and there, yo, after this date, I'm gonna drop her off and that's gonna be it. We ain't gonna do nothing. Well, we made it to the movie theater. I'm gonna tell you how long ago it was. It was the LL Cool J movie, the wackest LL Cool J movie. Anybody knows this is an '80s baby. Anybody that's seen this movie, I don't know if they seen it. This movie was garbage. It was LL's worst movie. It was like something. I almost said Monster Ball. More Monster Ball. It was he was doing some type of laser thing, and he was on. They was like laser skating. They was doing something. It was something that's supposed to be like high tech at the time, but the movie was garbage. He was like skating. They was doing lasers, but they were fighting. It was weird. It was a whack movie. The movie started. We was maybe no bull crap. It might have made it to 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I said, nah, F this. I looked over at her. I tapped her. I said, yo, we out. Her first reply was, we out. The movie just started. I was like, yo, come on. I ain't say nothing else. Just, come on. She got up. She followed me. I was like, yo, I'm going to take you home. She looked at me and was like, damn. Like, for real? I didn't even reply back. Because, when as one day I learned as a guy, don't kill your time with nobody. I don't care who they are. I don't care how you feel about their feelings. F the feelings. I feel like as a guy, I think that's where a lot of guys fail. You cater too much and you don't think about your own well-being. And when you don't think about your own well-being, you're going to end up hurting yourself out here. You're going to end up killing yourself slowly. So, why waste time? Waste your day. Don't do that. You just wasted maybe an hour or hour and a half of your time. You can't get it back. And that's only a little bit of time because when you're driving, it can go quick. So you end it. That way you're not sitting up there trying to do anything to make somebody feel comfortable. You just know right then and there, yo. Because they already know you ain't calling them and almost like they're not calling you. you know. So what I did was I pulled up to her crib, stopped. I said, "All right," and that was why I remember like it was yesterday. I was like, "All right." She gonna literally open her mouth and say, "Damn, you're not gonna even walk me to the door." Let's be real, y'all. If you start a date off like that, you already know everything is off. Why would I walk you to the door? And I just said, yo, I got somewhere to be. Be safe. She got out. So she got out. I didn't just pull off. I let her walk over to her crib. As soon as she was going up the steps, then I took off. I ain't. There's no need. I'm back over to the city. Next thing you know, I'm going out, and I did. I went out. Well, I went and scooped something up, and we went out. And that's the thing, man. I think why a lot of people today are struggling with dating. Men gotta have their ways that they stand on, and they gotta have their boundaries. And boundaries is something that you gotta uphold. You can't be out here sitting up there thinking that you just gonna cater to people. You gotta care about your own self. So, and not only that, man, stop being scared. Like, especially as men, y'all gotta stop being scared. Like to tell somebody what you like and what you don't like, and then if you going on a date and you taking a girl out and you already see that she just ain't interested, no, don't go or take them back home. End it. But you sit up there going through the day for them like, man, I ain't just trying to waste the night. You already wasted the night. You wasted it. It's waste. Keep it moving. It's better to drop a person off and going home and chill than to waste money and be out there for something that's not worth a time of day. So when you see the men and women going back and forth with each other, the reasons why is because everybody is wasting everybody's time. You got to be upfront. And a lot of times, I'm sorry to say this, fellas, but women are a lot of times being upfront about who they are. It's just that we ignore. No, not we. A lot of men ignore these flags. And I got played multiple times. I ain't gonna say mama, but I got played a nice amount of times. But that was young. Once I got to around maybe like maybe about 24, 25, I was a little bit more sharper. And not only that, I had less tolerance. And that comes from dealing with different, and you will end up understanding that the more you do stuff, you start to understand you're not going to be taken advantage of, and you're not going to have somebody sitting up there, just sitting up there doing something reckless to you, and you just sitting there like, yo, well, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. I don't care about comfortability. I'm gonna make you feel just as uncomfortable as you make me feel. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit up there and waste time. And a lot of you got to do that. You cannot kill your time. It's a lot easier to have peace and get a person out of your vehicle or out of your home or away from a date so you can go about your day. Because when things look bad and it looks like it's not going nowhere, that's because it's not going nowhere. You can't chase something that don't want you. So if it don't want you, you got to keep it moving. All right, fellas, sharpen up and be sharp and don't let nobody kill your space, man. Man up, do what you got to do, but at the same time, also care more about your well-being than anybody else. All right, dating can be fun, but it also can be draining if you allow it to be draining. All right,